to celebrate the 7-year anniversary of Rise of Kingdoms. This is the entire history of Rise of Kingdoms, starting from May 2018 to September 2025. In 2018, Rise of Kingdoms was an entirely different game. During the first months of the game opening, there was no end goal for any kingdoms. Governors heavily relied on epic commanders, and there wasn't even a alliance shop into the first big patch, 1.0.1, in October 2019, where Lilith would introduce one of the community's all-time favorite events, the Karak ceremony. And oh yeah, can you imagine the game without gold city roads? Well, for the first 5 months, they weren't even a thing in the game. But all this was very small in the grand scheme of things, as there were 3 more major additions in this update alone that have not only stayed long term in the game, but also defined how we play the game indefinitely. The first and most dull addition was the new Claim All button for Alliance gifts. It took Lilith 5 months to add this to the game, but 7 years to add the Claim All for the rare Alliance gifts. The next addition was the brand new VIP store. Yes, imagine Rise of Kingdoms without the VIP store. And finally, the addition that would change the game forever, a brand new 5th expertise skill that would be added to all epic and legendary commanders. You weren't an OG Rise of Kingdoms player if you didn't remember that these commanders only had 4 skill slots rather than the 5 we have today. The 1.0.11 patch was released, and it was another crucial update that introduced many of the systems that we have in place currently. The main focus of this update was the total revamp of commander talent trees. Although that was inherently massive, key alliance features were introduced that would propel much of the early game. Features like allowing Title R4s seeing the online status of players in the alliance. The addition of resource centers, places for us to create the single greatest meme in Rise of Kingdoms history, was added to the game. The captain change feature, where we were finally able to change structure captains. Imagine fighting before this feature. Inactivity reports, and this is nostalgia for rock boomers. The feature of limiting who can build flags in the Alliance to only making it for R4 privileges. Then the final update in 2018 occurred, the 12 patch note, which offered quality of life improvements where the developers hinted towards the eventual release of KVK, but mainly added features like more VIP shop purchases, more ways to get legendary stars, and gameplay features. But this was just the start, because in 2019, it was the year that Rise of Kingdoms needed to step up, because the game was getting a huge influx of players from around the world. So, the first update of 2019 lived up to the immense expectations the community had on Legu, who added 3 brand new civilizations along with 6 brand new commanders, 3 legendary commanders, and 3 epic commanders. The likes of Saladin, Constantine, and Mehmed were added, while other commanders like Edward, Tamaris, Wu Zetian, and the great Charlemagne were released. Charlemagne, the commander that only the great 1254 Nugget willingly and freely expertise with gold heads. Yeah, that's true. But the biggest feature in this update was the addition of Ark of Osiris, an event that would create some of the biggest competitions and rivalries between alliances and kingdoms throughout the history of the game. Ark would inherently become the greatest competitive feature alongside KVKs. Then finally, just under a year of release of the game, Rise of Kingdoms changed its name. Yes, during all these updates, Rise of Kingdoms wasn't even called Rise of Kingdoms yet. You new players might not know, but the game was originally called Rise of Civilizations. It was only until March 5th, 2019 that Lilith Gaming and Legu Games officially announced the change from Rise of Civilizations to Rise of Kingdoms, sparking yet another huge update that changed the face of the game and the gameplay, officially introducing kingdom migration and the implementation of KVKs. But this was all in early 2019, and following huge incoming implementations of KVK and migration, the devs had to expand quality of life and other features to support these two massive additions to the game. Adding things like achievements, the addition of alliance skills, unrestricted troop movement expansion from arc to normal gameplay, the click and drag, and multi-select troop selection features. These features that made the game just so playable, loved, and different from any other game out there. Finally, this year concluded with the addition of legendary commander sculptures inside the special daily bundles, the addition of Genghis Khan and Alexander the Great, the first and so far only true free-to-play commander, Aethelflaed, were added to the game. And finally, another huge and defining update that shaped the entirety of the game, the introduction of equipment. And the two greatest commanders since the start of Rise of Kingdoms were then released in very late 2019, Attila and Takeda. In 2020, the addition of the long-awaited practice matches were introduced in the first major update of the year. The huge update of 1.0.34 introduced Golden Kingdom and the Alliance calendar. But the biggest update of this year came in August, when Lilith introduced update 1.0.37, otherwise known as Geared Up. In this update, you saw the reduction of equipment materials from 7 different pieces to 4, a complete rework of equipment attributions and costs. Meanwhile, they would introduce brand new legendary equipment sets like the Dragon Breath, the Hellish Wasteland, and the Eternal Empire. Then adding a brand new equipment chest in the tavern alongside equipment blueprint chests in the VIP shop. This was hands down the biggest single update of the year, as following updates would introduce features like Alliance Reclaim, 6 new KVK equipment pieces, including 3 weapons and 3 helmets, Heroic Anthem, and the last update of the year introduced a brand new Rise of Kingdoms and Destiny Warriors 9 collaboration that would introduce legendary commanders like Lu Bu and Dio-chan, while adding in the ability to show how many Alliance members were online and adding 3 new accessories. Meanwhile, other commanders like Kira, YSS, Theodora, William, Chandragupta, Matilda, Zenobia, and Harold were introduced throughout the year. In 2021, one of the biggest and best updates was added to the game, changing the daily chest purchase to offer more commanders like Alex, Khan, Edward, and others that you were able to freely choose. Similarly, a few updates later, they would implement a similar system with the Wheel of Fortune and Mightiest Governor event, where you were able to select your desired commander based on which troop type the Will and MGE appears. Meanwhile, features like Commander Skill Lock, optimization of the kill rankings, and calculations were introduced in early updates in 2021. Meanwhile, just a few months later, Lilith would introduce VIP 18, and shortly after, Lilith added the egg event and major optimizations to Champions of Olympia. 2022 was the year that saw the biggest change for how players could play this game in all of its history. The introduction of same season immigration, where it blocked players from migrating backwards to Season 2 or 3 kingdoms, and allowed young accounts to grow more naturally. The introduction of the museum building and its buffs that allowed old commanders to become more relevant was released following the migration update. And just a month later, Lilith dropped the brand new iconic equipment system, and sadly introduced ranged combat. Then, their 3rd year anniversary event introduced the first time event Grand Prix and the ability to join other alliances in their camp during KVK. Then the unthinkable happened in late 2022. The single most luck-based addition to Rise of Kingdoms was added, the all-new formation system. Meanwhile, Lilith would add the best KVK mode in all of the game to try and balance itself out with the new formation system, King of Nile. But in all seriousness, in the final update, Lilith introduced Dusk Canyon tournaments. In 2023, more optimization of armaments were introduced through the likes of the new optimized state forum and transmutation features. Meanwhile, the addition of legendary leadership equipment and the ability to join any alliance in your camp, regardless of kingdom, followed suit. The introduction of the Greek civilization, improving the transmutation system with the ability to lock certain statistics, the creator zone, and improvements to battle reports and season statistics were followed right after. And finally, the addition of iconic equipment levels were added, along with their additional stats. Then last year in 2024, which saw not a lot of updates that were majorly affecting the game. However, it is safe to say that these updates did include major improvements and features that would change the landscape of Rise of Kingdoms, which included equipment presets, new inscriptions, Tesudo, and circle formations, new guaranteed rare inscription features, Alliance pass list and block list, the rework and addition of arc skills, the addition of battle hotspots in Lost Kingdoms, combat stats, the new Delta formation, the new Mayan civilization, vacation permits, and the biggest update of the year, the addition of 2 brand new VIP levels, VIP 19 and SVIP, was the start of Lilith introducing new and amazing cosmetics to the game. And lastly, 2025, this year, which has so far seen the addition of many insane ideas, some long awaited by the community. The first was seen at the start of the year with commander swap events. Use the heads of older commanders which they invested in for new commanders which they wanted to expertise. The addition of new arc skills, the addition of spin tickets that are used to spin the Wheel of Fortune event, and the brand new Will bundle. The new Lost Kingdom tier system and rewards, brand new crystal technology which favors free-to-play and low spenders, reduction of past glory buffs of 40% damage to 30%, new legendary smites and combo accessories, the introduction and early stage of a team-up feature to SOC Kingdoms in KVKs, the start of the Supreme Strife tournament, the addition of the new Lost Kingdom buffs for custom arc matches, and lastly, a brand new system for the outdated Zenith of Power and new voice chat features. From the early days of a game that was attempting to find its own identity, Rise of Kingdoms has been consistently developing and growing towards something better with every single update. It is very likely that in 1 year from now, the game will look completely different than what it is today. And with the dedication of the LEGO developers trying to deliver ambitious and amazing content for this one-of-a-kind game, we can guarantee that the future is bright in Rise of Kingdoms.